in regards to the latest CBA offer made by the owners. Breanna Stewart absolutely slapped around that last offer. Denied. Breanna Stewart ultimately had to say about this offer, as she absolutely slammed it. This is what Breanna Stewart had to say, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves, because we have just witnessed the single most destructive decision in the history of women's professional sports. For months, we were told that the WNBA was entering a golden era. We were told that the Caitlyn Clark economy had finally arrived to save the league, to print money for the players, and to elevate the game to the global stage. We were promised charter flights, million-dollar salaries, and a league that finally treated its athletes like the superstars they are. But today, that promise lies in ruins. The deal is dead. We have official confirmation that the WNBPA, led by Vice President Breanna Stewart and President Nneka Ogwumike, has formally rejected the owners' historic collective bargaining agreement offer. And they didn't just reject it, they insulted it. They looked at a proposal that would have quadrupled the salaries of the average player, a proposal that guaranteed housing and first-class travel, and they spit in the face of the people writing the checks. Why? Because of ego, because of greed, and because the old guard of the WNBA would rather burn the entire 2026 season to the ground than admit that Caitlyn Clark is the reason they are getting paid. We are staring down the barrel of a lockout that could silence the arenas, bankrupt the role players, and destroy the momentum of the greatest sport growth story of the
players in this league. These are those middle-of-the-pack players who seem to be getting left out in thought by the veterans, the Nneka Ogwumikes, the Breanna Stewarts, the Napheesa Colliers, who are all compromised but also can afford a lockout. These players, majority of these players in Athletes Unlimited, cannot afford a WNBA lockout. So they went there to meet.
Let's break down exactly what was on the table, because the mainstream media is trying to spin this as a fight for justice, but the numbers tell a very different story. The host of the source video reveals the cold, hard facts. The owners offered a salary cap increase to over $5 million. They offered maximum salaries that would start at $1.3 million in 2026 and rise to nearly $2 million over the life of the deal. Let that sink in. $2 million. For a league where the max salary was barely $200,000 just 2 years ago. That is life-changing generational wealth. That is buy your mom a house money. That is set your kids up for college money. And the union said no. They said it wasn't enough. Breanna Stewart went on record saying the offer didn't move much money-wise. Are you kidding me? Going from $200,000 to $2 million isn't moving the needle. It is a level of delusion that is frankly terrifying. It shows that the leadership of the union is completely disconnected from reality. They are operating in a fantasy land where the WNBA has been profitable for 50 years, instead of a league that has lost money every single year until Caitlyn Clark showed up.
This would affect specific salaries is unclear. The WNBA's proposal in early December offered a $5 million salary cap and a max salary of about $1.3 million in the first year of the deal. A source close to the situation told CBS Sports that over the course of the proposed deal, the maximum salary will raise to almost $2 million, and that multiple players on each team will be eligible for the max salary.
And that this is where the betrayal of the rank-and-file players happens. The host mentions a fracture in the union, and it is a massive one. You have the Davos class of the WNBA, the Breanna Stewarts, the Napheesa Colliers, who are already millionaires. They have shoe deals, they have endorsements, they have equity in this new, unrivaled league. They can afford to miss a paycheck. In fact, a lockout might even help them, because it drives traffic to their new startup league. But what about the player who is the 7th woman off the bench? What about the rookie trying to make the roster? They need that housing stipend. They need that $500,000 average salary. They cannot afford to strike, but their voices are being drowned out by the superstars who are using them as pawns in a power struggle. The Nashville meeting at Athletes Unlimited wasn't a town hall, it was a hostage situation. The union leadership flew down there to make sure the rank and file stayed in line, to make sure nobody broke ranks, and said, hey, maybe we should take the millions of dollars on the table.
Hopefully we can really start hearing each other and they hear us on things that are non-negotiables. What are the non-negotiables? For them, it has been revenue sharing. They want 30% of revenue share. The WNBA is refusing to move on that.
The specific poison pill that killed this deal is revenue sharing. And you need to understand why this is such a disaster. The union is demanding 30% of gross revenue. That means they want 30 cents of every single dollar that comes in, ticket sales, popcorn, jerseys, TV rights, before a single bill is paid. Before the arena rental, before the marketing staff, before the insurance. No business in the world operates like that. The NBA players don't even get that. They get a split of basketball-related income after expenses. The WNBA owners offered a generous split of the net revenue, acknowledging that they need to cover the costs of running the league. But Breanna Stewart called the 30% gross figure a non-negotiable. Think about the arrogance of that word. Non-negotiable in a negotiation. You are supposed to give and take. The owners gave on housing. They gave on travel. They gave on salary caps. The union gave nothing. They drew a red line that they knew the owners couldn't cross without going bankrupt. This proves that they don't actually want a deal. They want a war. They want to punish the owners for the lean years, and they don't care if they destroy the future to settle a score from the past. And where is Caitlyn Clark in all of this? She is the ghost in the room. She is the unspoken leverage that both sides are fighting over. The owners know that Caitlyn is the golden goose. That is why they offered the charter flights. That is why they offered the big money. They want to keep her happy. They want to keep her safe. The union, on the other hand, seems resentful of her power. By rejecting this deal, they are essentially hurting Caitlyn the most. They are delaying her ability to sign a massive contract. They are putting her third season in jeopardy. It feels personal. It feels like the veterans are saying, we control this league, not the rookie. But they are wrong. The fans aren't buying tickets to see the union lawyers argue about gross revenue splits. They are buying tickets to see Logo 3. If the season is canceled, the fans won't blame the owners for offering $2 million. They will blame the players for turning it down. The public perception battle is going to be a slaughter, and the union is walking right into a trap. The video also touches on the compromised nature of the union leadership. This is a critical point that needs to be investigated. You have the leaders of the WNBPA actively building a competitor league in unrivaled. Is it a conflict of interest to sabotage the WNBA season to boost interest in your own venture? The host certainly thinks so. It is shady, it is messy, and it stinks of corruption. Imagine if LeBron James tried to cancel the NBA season so people would watch his pickup games at the YMCA. That is effectively what is happening here. The WNBA is the only platform that gives these women global visibility. It is the only platform that makes them household names. To gamble with its existence is reckless endangerment of the sport. So what happens next? We are entering the danger zone. Breanna Stewart admitted that time is running out. The season is supposed to start in May. Free agency is frozen. The draft is in limbo. The expansion drafts for Toronto and Portland are stalled. The logistical nightmare of starting a season is already beginning. Even if they signed a deal tomorrow, the damage is done. But they aren't signing a deal tomorrow. They are digging in. The owners have signaled that this was their final offer. They are not going to bid against themselves. They put the life-changing money on the table, and the union slapped it away. Now, the owners are going to sit back and wait. They are going to let the players feel the pain of a missed paycheck. They are going to let the fracture in the union grow until the rank-and-file players revolt against Breanna Stewart. It is going to get ugly. It is going to get personal. And it is going to happen in the public eye. This is a tragedy for every young girl who bought a Caitlyn Clark jersey. It is a tragedy for every fan who finally started caring about women's basketball. We were on the 1-yard line. We were about to score the winning touchdown for women's sports, and instead of handing the ball to the star running back, the union decided to fumble it on purpose. They let their pride get in the way of the prize. They let their ideology get in the way of the economics. And now, instead of a championship parade, we are planning a funeral for the Caitlyn Clark deal is dead. The owners tried to save it. The fans tried to save it. But Breanna Stewart and the WNBPA decided that being right was more important than being rich, and more important than playing the game. History will not look kindly on this decision. When the arenas are dark and empty this summer, remember this moment. Remember the day the WNBA players turned down millions because they wanted everything. They played a game of chicken with the future, and they just crashed the car. The only question now is, can anything survive the wreckage? The clock is ticking, and the silence is getting louder by the second.